by subscribing to our channel, liking our films, and clicking the Super Thanks button below. You can ensure that you won't miss any of the team's prepared videos, which will include exclusive reporting on the war in Israel, as well as the newest events. Newsworthy updates are still coming in from Gaza. Israeli troops have reported that Hamas has fortified a new defensive line within Gaza. Iranian forces form the right side of the defensive line, while Yemeni infantry forms the left side. Hamas fighters hold guns as they wait for the Israeli army to arrive in the center. Nevertheless, the adversary's scheme is flawed. Everyone knows that Iran has begun making war preparations. The Iranian army must finalize your plans. According to Iranian President Ibrahim Raizi's remarks, the battle will result in Israel's defeat. Tanks stationed in Syria by Iran advanced toward the border with Israel following this announcement. Destroying us bases in the area is an absolute must for Iran if it wants to overcome Israel. As a result, the Hezbollah group, governed by Iran, has intensified its attacks on American sites in Syria and Iraq. Hezbollah forces use drones and missiles to strike us positions. The United States military will react to the attacks, as stated by both the White House and the Pentagon. The regions targeted by the strikes will receive the deployment of around 70,000 US troops. The war between Israel and Hamas can escalate into a larger Middle Eastern conflict if the United States sends troops to the region. Iran is seeking retribution against the US for the death of General Qasem Soleimani in 2020. In the Middle East, Soleimani was a prominent figure among Iran's generals. Soleimani paved the way for Iran to become a major player in the Middle East as the commander of Iranian forces and covert forces abroad. The US Army deposed Soleimani, an Iranian leader who had served for over 4 decades. Soleimani, who took a strong position against Israel, was responsible for ordering multiple attacks on the Jewish state. A major conflict is imminent in Yemen. With Iran's help, the Houthis have taken over a portion of Yemen. The major cities of Israel are targets of the Houthis invasion strategy. The Houthis believe that if Israeli cities are occupied, Israel will recover. The Houthis carried out their missile attacks on numerous Israeli cities according to this plan. In an attempt to breach Israeli cities, hundreds of Houthi soldiers attempted to enter. The missiles were, however, intercepted in mid-air by US forces stationed in the area. On a daily basis, Houthi soldiers engage in combat with border guards. The Houthis, who disguise themselves as civilians yet carry weapons, are able to breach the border on occasion. As soon as they cross the border, these soldiers begin firing on innocent Israeli citizens. The attacks have resulted in the deaths of numerous innocent Israeli residents. Israeli tanks successfully entered Gaza through the Erez border crossing, disproving the enemy's belief in their formidable defense. The successful entry of Israeli tanks into Gaza through the Erez border crossing was a major accomplishment. There was an immediate and catastrophic loss of 20,000 Hamas forces in northern Gaza. After seizing control of northern Gaza, the Israeli army advanced into the heart of the city. The Israeli army planted the flag in the heart of Gaza City. In this area, Israel initiated tunnel operations. In a decisive action, Israeli special forces eliminated thousands of enemy combatants concealed in the tunnels. In other videos on our channel, we go into detail about these. Viewing our other videos is something I highly recommend. The Israeli army's current strategy is to free Deir al-Balah from the enemy's control. Hamas is holding a significant number of hostages in this region, according to a statement released by the Israeli Prime Minister's office. Recent reports indicate that Hamas is holding approximately 500 Israelis hostage. 50 Israeli troops were taken prisoner by the enemy during the fighting in North Gaza and Gaza city center. The Israeli soldiers' whereabouts are a mystery. As previously said, the Gaza defense is flanked by Iranian and Yemeni forces. However, the adversary fails to consider 2 important factors. The Mentor and Shujalia districts. Upon the outbreak of hostilities, control of these territories, which are to the right of the Gaza city centre, passed to the Israeli administration. After launching a breaching operation in these two locations devoid of subterranean tunnels, Israel partitioned Gaza in half and sent each half to the sea. To prevent the enemy from delivering aid to North Gaza, Israel launched this operation. Ignoring the occupation on the surface, the enemy persisted in sending aid through the tunnels. Israeli special forces entered the tunnels, pushing back Hamas forces from northern Gaza and forcing them to flee towards the city centre. Israeli forces blocked supplies from reaching enemy forces in the heart of Gaza City, where they control the Minta and Shujaliyah neighbourhoods. Because of this, Israel was able to seize half of Gaza. By capturing two strategic locations, the Israeli army drove the enemy back. Up until the Gaza harbour, the territory was held by Hamas forces until the Israeli army freed it. By subscribing to our channel, liking our films, and clicking the super thanks button below, you can ensure that you won't miss any of the team's prepared videos, which will include exclusive reporting on the war in Israel as well as the newest events. At sea, the conflict rages on. The Houthis of Yemen, who initiated hostilities by launching ballistic missiles and kamikaze drones into Israel, made good on their threats from last week over the weekend. An Iranian-backed militia hijacked a commerce ship while it was transiting between the Red and Arabian Seas. Israel has acknowledged the incident that occurred on Sunday in the Red Sea and has stated that there were no Israelis on board. According to the Tel Aviv authorities, the ship was operated by Japanese and belonged to a British business. Israel's most shocking declaration held Iran solely liable for the ship's seizure. An Iranian terrorist act was how Israel characterized the event. Contrarily, Iran denied today any involvement in the seizure of the Galaxy Leader spacecraft. The Houthis have repeatedly declared their intention to strike any vessel that carries the Israeli flag or is operated by Israelis in the Bab or Mandeb Strait, the waterway linking the Red Sea with the Sea of Oman. According to Rory Challens of Al Jazeera's Jerusalem bureau, Israel linked the October 7th attack by Hamas with the rockets fired from Lebanon, by Hezbollah and the capture of the ship. Israel saw the missiles as Iran's attempt to rally its proxy forces. At the same time, it is raining again in Gaza on the 45th day of the conflict. The Palestinians trying to take shelter in tents have an already challenging position, exacerbated by the rain and storm. On October 7th, the rain and storm compelled 1.5 million Palestinians to evacuate their homes in the Gaza Strip, where an estimated 2.3 million people are stranded. After being forced to evacuate their houses, the vast majority of the displaced people sought shelter in tents in the southern area of Gaza. Tent campers may expect a drop in temperature, storms, and precipitation throughout the week. United Nations teams currently on the ground have reported that the tent's condition has deteriorated to the point where it is unlivable. A spokesperson for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNWA, said, "People have no choice," in a recent social media update about their work with Palestinian refugees. The triumph of mankind is of the utmost importance. You can make sure you don't miss any of the videos our team has produced by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and clicking the super thanks button below. These videos will include the latest news and exclusive stories on the We compile and edit all current news about the Israeli army for you. We would like to thank you for your support, and we would like to express our gratitude to our team, which is always working for you with leading and quality videos on the YouTube platform.